Hello, 6th grade mathematicians. So good to see you again today. We are going to be talking about converting metric units, so dimensional analysis, and we're going to actually just spend some time filling in our notes. This video should be quick, short, and to the point. We're going to do the example problems on the back together so you have some before you move on to whatever activity you need to do next. So you need to get out your converting measurement unit packets, or like the multiplying fractions, dividing fractions, the notes pages, and get it out and get it open while I get my device ready to go. And your paper should look just like mine. You should have your pencil ready, and here we go. All right, so what are units of measure? Okay, it is how we measure length, weight, and capacity. Okay, this is not anything new. This is what you have seen before. Length, obviously, capacity. So you're talking about cups, pints, quarts. When you're talking weight, you're talking pounds, tons. And when you're talking length, you're talking foot, yard, mile. So things that you see every single day. So shouldn't be anything new. So it is how we measure length, weight, and capacity. It says, how can you use ratios to convert units of measure? So the first thing that we always want to know is we want to remember that we make a unit rate using, and this is going to be a repeat, a denominator of 1. So what does that really mean? So we're making a unit rate. Well, that's not anything new. We talked about it in our rates and ratios. But what that really means is an example, oops, it's going to act crazy again, is an example that 1 foot equals 12 inches. So how can we make that be a unit rate? Remember, a unit rate means we have a denominator of 1. So what that really looks like is there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, and you can also abbreviate and put IN or FT. Okay, so 12 inches in 1 foot. Let's move on to the next part. It says a unit ratio. A ratio or a fraction with a what of 1? Well, we pretty much just said it right there. So a denominator of 1. Okay, again, make sure you are filling this out exactly how I'm filling it out. All right, so let's talk about dimensional analysis. Okay, you've seen it, you've heard it, we've talked about it, but what is it really? It is the process of including units of measure or measurement, units of measurement as factors when you compute. Okay, so it's taking, how many inches are in 1 foot? Well, we know there's 12 inches in 1 foot, so how can we know how many inches are in 2 feet? Without actually skip counting, we're going to actually show you ways to do that. Okay, so this is just a feed-on of example of what we're going to do. You should have something very similar to this, a measurement, types of measurement, lengths, capacity, weight. You also have in your book, and I can't remember off the top of probably lesson 4, no, maybe, lesson 5 I meant. Lesson 5, right here on page 290. Okay, you also have this, and that could be a terrible picture that I'm showing you. But it is a nice conversion table of telling you how many yards are in a foot, how many feet are in a yard, how many, I don't know, pounds are in a ton, all that stuff. So use it. Okay, it's not really a cheat sheet. It's just a tool to help you. So let's take a look at this one. We want to convert 4 gallons to quarts. So we want to convert 4 gallons, and therefore we want to know how many quarts are in a gallon. So remember that we're going to have our quarts up here and our gallons down here. Why? Because we're going to cross-simplify those gallons out. So we're going to get rid of the gallons, and we're going to put this over 1. It doesn't have to be over 1, but it just kind of makes sense because we're going to try to figure that out. So we know from our sheet, okay, or in our book, we know that there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. So now I can cross off my gallons, okay, I can cross simplify my gallons, and now this is just a simple multiplication problem. So I see that I have 4 times 4, which is 16, and I have my quarts left over 1. Well, what does 16 over 1 mean? It really means that we have 16 quarts. Can we get a fraction? Yes, we can. We can most definitely get a fraction, just like 2/3 quarts, okay? We might not use all, 1 full quart. We might only use 2/3 of it. So we can actually get a fraction. So we do have a fraction, but we know when anything is over 1 that it's really just the whole number. All right, let's take a look at the next one. It says convert 3 cups into fluid ounces. So I know I'm going to put 3 cups. I'm going to put that over 1. I'm going to times it, and I know that my cups needs to be down here, and I know that I'm going to fluid ounces. So I'm going to look at my sheet, and I can see that there are 8 fluid ounces in 1 cup. Okay, so I'm going to cross off my cups. I'm going to cross cancel those out, and now I'm just going to multiply across. Multiply my numerators. 3 times 8, 24. Oops, not sure what just happened there. 24 fluid ounces. I've got to carry that over. And 1 times 1 is 1. Well, when I know that I have a denominator of 1, I know that that is a whole number of 24 fluid ounces. So in 3 cups, there are 24 fluid ounces. So let's see if that makes sense, because in 1 cup, there's 8 ounces. So in 2 cups, we would know that there was 16 ounces. In 3 cups, we would know that there is 24 ounces. We just did it mathematically using dimensional analysis. All right, let's take a look at this next one. We're going cups to pints. So 13 cups over 1 times something over cup. So I need to know how many pints are in 1 cup. I know, or what do I know about pints and cups? Well, when I look at my capacity, I see that 1 pint, there's 1 pint in 2 cups. That's okay. I can do that. There's 1 in 1 pint, there's 2 cups. I can cross cancel my cups, and now I multiply my numerators and I multiply my denominators. So I'm going to multiply my numerators. 13 times 1 is 13. I get 1 times 2, which is 2. Can I leave my fraction like this? No, I cannot. Remember, that is an improper fraction, which means I must take the numerator and divide it by the denominator. So I'm just going to drop it down, cross it off. I know that 2 goes into 13 6 times, 12. I subtract, I'm left with 1. That 1 becomes my numerator. My 2 stays my denominator. And what do I have left for my label? Is pints. So in 13 cups, I have 6.5 pints. Makes sense. Okay. Let's take a look at this next one. It says a total of 35 pints were collected at a local blood drive. How many quarts of blood were collected? So we're doing pints to quarts. So I'm going to have 35 pints. Okay. That looks like points. I'm going to write pints. Since I'm like a sports person, it looked like points to me, so I'm just going to do it that way. And we're going to put quarts up here and pints down here, because remember, we want to cross cancel those pints. So we know that in 1 quart, there are 2 pints. I'm going to cancel out my pints. And now, can I cross simplify? Nope, so I'm just going to multiply across. And I get 35 times 1 is 35. 1 times 2 is 2. Can I leave it like this? No, that's an improper fraction, so I'm going to divide. I'm going to drop this down. I know that goes in once. I get 15. I know that goes in 7, which is 14. And I get a remainder of 1, which means that 1 becomes my numerator. My 2 stays my denominator. Oh my goodness, what just happened? There we go. Which means I have 17.5 quarts. 17.5 quarts. Okay. All right. Last two. Cell phones can weigh as little as 2 ounces. How many pounds can the cell phone weigh? So if we're talking from ounces to pounds, we're going to write 2 ounces over 1 times, remember I'm going to ounces to pounds, and I know that there is, let's see, 16 ounces in 1 pound. I'm going to cross cancel my ounces. Oh, but I can now cross simplify my 2 and my 16, which means I can divide both of those by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 16 divided by 2 is 8. I'm going to multiply across. 1 times 1 is 1. 8 times 1 is 8. And I have 1/8 of a pound. That makes sense because I'm only talking 2 ounces, and it takes 16 ounces to make 1 pound. So therefore it is 1/8 pound. It is 1/8 pound. Okay, like I said, we can have fractions. That makes sense. Okay, and why does that make sense? I'm going to show you really quickly using kind of like a bar diagram. Okay, so here is 1 pound. This is 1 pound. Okay, in 1 pound we know that there is 16 ounces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I should have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so 16 ounces. But I want to know what is 2 ounces of that. That is, if we were to divide this up into eighths, that would be every 2. It's pretty sloppy, but kind of gives you an idea of why it can be a fraction. That is 1/8, because here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 of those ounces are 1/8 of the whole pound in ounces. Okay? You do not need to write that down. That was just for your information. Okay, here we go. A recipe calls for 56 fluid ounces of milk. How many cups of milk are needed in the recipe? So we have 56 fluid ounces over 1, and we know fluid ounces needs to go down here, and we're going to cups. Okay? How many cups? So we know that in 1 cup there's 8 fluid ounces. I'm going to cancel out my fluid ounces, and now I can actually cross simplify. 8 divided by 8 is 1. 56 divided by 8 is 7. I get 7 cups over 1, which is the exact same as 7 cups. Okay, so those were the notes on the dimensional analysis, or, conversion of measurement. You need to go ahead and do whatever assignment whatever's up next. I'm not sure what it is because it could change from year to year, but make sure you just follow along with whatever it tells you. You have some great examples on the back here to follow. Just make sure that you are always putting your same measurement across from one another, not on the same line, but across from one another, so that you can cancel those out to figure out what the answer is, whether you're going from cups to fluid ounces or feet to inches, whatever it might be. All right, good job, mathematicians.